Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over the fastest sports cars for circuit racing in Grand Theft Auto Online. This is an updated list. Some things have changed since the last time I did this over a year ago. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and get into it. Again, this is only for circuit racing. This is not about straight line speed or anything like that. It's just about the whole package of the car, the handling, top speed, and the acceleration. Let's go ahead and get into it, starting off with number 10. At number 10, we have the Ocelot Jugular, coming in at $900,000 if you have the trade price, up to about $1.2 million if you do not have the trade price. The Ocelot Jugular is a very fast four-doored vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online, and it's a great one to have for both free mode and for racing. Although for racing, because it is in 10th place, you're not going to do super well, but you can use it on the racetrack and you will do relatively well regardless of that. It's got a good amount of customization, the acceleration is fantastic, the top speed is its weakest sort of part. However, the handling is really good as well, and the engine sound on this car is one of the best in the entire game. So it's a great car to drive around, cruise around in free mode. It makes a really good sound, it's a really good looking car, and of course you can drive around with 3 other players in your vehicle. So it's really the whole package. It's a great vehicle, definitely one that I would recommend. Next up at number 9, we have the ENIS Paragon R, coming in at $905,000. The Paragon R was added with the casino update to Grand Theft Auto Online, and you can actually unlock an armored version of it for completing the casino missions with Miss Baker. So that is pretty cool. Otherwise, this thing is going to run you $900K. It's got some really good customization and the performance backs it up very nicely. It has really good acceleration. It's got a pretty good top speed as well. And the handling is pretty decent. Now, what I like about this car is it does feel pretty heavy, but it does feel maneuverable still, and in a way it feels light. I think that it is very reminiscent of modern cars. Cars are getting heavier and heavier every year, but somehow they still handle really well, regardless of the added weight. And the ENIS Paragon R translates this very well into Grand Theft Auto Online. For $900K, this is not one that you can go wrong with. You're probably not going to win any races with it because the sports class is just so jam-packed with good cars, but the Paragon R is going to give you the 9th best chance. It's all-wheel drive as well, which is another huge feature that is really good. Anyway guys, that's it for the Paragon R. At number 9, on to number 8. Next up at number 8, we have the Weenie Issy Sport, coming in at $897,000. The Weenie Issy Sport is regarded as one of the best handling cars in Grand Theft Auto Online. I actually missed this one for my best handling cars video from a few days ago, which is very unfortunate. But the Weenie Issy Sport is insanely good. This thing has extreme handling, like it is crazy. That's by far its best feature. The acceleration is also really good, so you know, those two things coupled together, it's going to be really good on tight, twistier circuits. However, its top speed is not that high. It's actually quite low, so that is a little bit unfortunate. But definitely for a twisty circuit with not many straightaways, the Weenie Issy Sport is going to be a great one to pick, regardless of where it's placed on this list. It's still going to compete pretty well with some of the top cars, I would say. And for just under $900K, it's not bad. It's got some good customization to it as well. Overall, it is a very good vehicle, definitely one that I would recommend owning in Grand Theft Auto Online. Next up at number 7, we have the Pfister Comet SR, coming in at $1,145,000. Another relatively cheap car on this list, which we do of course like to see. The Pfister Comet SR is based off of a Porsche 911. It could be a GT3, it could be a GT2. Could be just a regular Carrera, something like that, depending on the upgrades which you put onto the SR. Now the SR doesn't have a whole lot of upgrades, but it does have enough to make it very unique looking if you so choose to do that. At its price point, the performance is really good, and this thing has been in the top 10 for a very long time within the sports category, which is pretty impressive, and I think it says a lot about just how good the car is. It's very well balanced, it's very well weighted, the handling is super good on this thing, the acceleration is also pretty fantastic, and the top speed is decent as well. It also makes a pretty good engine sound, which of course we do like to see. Overall, the Pfister Comet SR is definitely worth the $1,145,000 that it costs, and it could potentially win you some races depending on if you are using the right track and you're playing against people who don't have thumbs. That's it for number 7, on to number 6. Next up, we have the Overflawed Immorgan, coming in at $2.2 million. A little bit on the expensive side, however, the performance of this vehicle is really good. I would say it's pretty similar to the Issy Sport, except it's got a little bit better acceleration and a little bit higher of a top speed. However, the handling is not quite as good as the Issy Sport. It is still a great vehicle. For $2.2 million, it is a little bit steep, but this thing can get you some results on the racetrack for sure. Very quick, it is all-wheel drive as well, so that is good to have. Obviously, if there's an off-road section in your race, that is very nice. I don't really like the look of the Overflaughted Morgan, but other than that, it is a very, very good car, and it definitely is one that could win you some races. Pick this thing up if you guys are interested. And number 5, we have the Visser Neo. This is a car that I am pretty critical of. It goes for just under $1.9 million. The Visser Neo is very quick in a straight line. The acceleration is really good. It's all-wheel drive, and the top speed is quite high as well. However, the back end of this car does seem to like to kick out on you, seemingly a little bit randomly. Now, that's not to say that it's always going to handle poorly, but sometimes the back end just decides to like really oversteer on you, and it's kind of hard to control, and it's really hard to get back into shape once it kind of bends itself out of shape. Overall, the Neo is a decent car, especially for longer straightaway tracks, but if it's a really twisty circuit, I would honestly not really recommend picking this car up. With that being said, let's move on to number 4. At number 4, we have the Grotti Italy RSX. The most expensive car on this list by a long shot, coming in at $2.6 million if you have the trade price, and just under $3.5 million if you do not have the trade price for this thing. So very expensive car, extremely fast. You do get some pretty good performance out of this thing. However, it does have one drawback that we will get to a little bit later. It is all-wheel drive, so it has very good acceleration. It's also got a very high top speed of about 132 miles an hour, which is pretty quick in GTA, especially on last gen. However, its biggest drawback is its handling. Now, the handling isn't by all means terrible. I would say the handling of the RSX is actually pretty good. However, it does have one glaring issue, and that is the downforce value for this car is completely broken, because for some reason Rockstar has an issue with adding correct downforce to vehicles that have a stock active spoiler. And the RSX is one of those cars. So unfortunately, this thing has no downforce. The spoiler does not add traction at all to your car. Even though it says it does, it actually doesn't. So that is very annoying. And if it did, the RSX could probably be the fastest car in Grand Theft Auto Online in the sports category. But unfortunately, it's not, because it doesn't have any downforce. So there you have it. The RSX is really expensive, and you do get some great performance out of it. However, there are some cars that are cheaper than the RSX ahead of it here that are going to get you a little bit more bang for your buck. So let's go ahead and talk about number 3. At number 3, we have the Ocelot Pariah, coming in at $1,420,000. The Ocelot Pariah is a very, very good car in GTA. It has an extremely high top speed of 136 miles per hour, which is very fast in a straight line in GTA. In fact, this is the second fastest vehicle top speed wise on last gen consoles that is actually raceable. So it's very, very quick in a straight line. The handling is also not terrible for it. It is rear wheel drive only, so it will have a little bit of oversteer, but a lot of the time it can actually keep itself in check, I would say. Generally, it is a very good car for racing. The acceleration is also good, except off the line, of course. Like I said, it is rear wheel drive, so it is going to struggle off the line a little bit. You're not going to get that really quick acceleration, but it is still a very good car. Definitely one that I would recommend picking up for sure, especially for long straightaway races. That's it for the Pariah at number 3. On to number 2. And at number 2, of course, we have the Karin S95 with the HSW upgrade. This is exclusive to the expanded and enhanced edition of Grand Theft Auto Online. That's the only way that you can get this car. It's going to run you $2 million plus an additional $525K for the HSW upgrade. However, the HSW makes this car insanely fast. Now, I will say the handling is not super great with the HSW upgrade because it just has so much power, and it is rear wheel drive only. So the back wheels are going to break loose a lot, but it can be negated a little bit with the addition of a spoiler on the car, as well as some other handling improving modifications. The S95 is a really good car, and its top speed is one of the highest in the entire game. I believe it tops out at about 155, if not 154 miles per hour, which is insanely fast, obviously. I mean, the Pariah is the fastest car in old gen, or second fastest, and it's 136, and this thing tops out at, 154, 155 sort of thing. It's very, very quick, no doubt about it. So definitely very good for top speed tracks. However, for twisty tracks, the Karin S95 is not going to cut it. It just isn't that great on a very twisty sort of track. So make sure you keep that in mind if you are planning on purchasing the Karin S95 if you have it available to you. But at number 1, we have a car that is available on every generation of Grand Theft Auto Online, and it has dominated the sports category for years. Let's talk about it. Of course, the number 1 car is the Grotti Italy GTO, coming in at just under $2 million, about $1,960,000, I do believe. It's all-wheel drive, it's got insane acceleration, and it's got a pretty good top speed as well. But in addition to all of this, the Italy GTO has something that a lot of cars in GTA don't, and that is it has advanced handling flags that allow it to go faster the bumpier the road that it's traveling on. So if your racetrack has curbs on it, you can do what's called curb boosting with the Italia GTO to gain an extra ton of speed on circuits, which is great, and it works really, really well. The Italia GTO, though, even without curb boosting, is still a very fast car, definitely one that is probably the best for racing in all of GTA. It has phenomenal handling, a lot of that is due to the all-wheel drive. The acceleration is crazy as well because, again, all-wheel drive, and the top speed is pretty good as well. Overall, the Grotti Italia GTO is just the whole package when it comes to sports class racing in this game. It's definitely a must-own if you want to try to win sports races. So anyway guys, there you have it. Those are the top 10 fastest sports cars in Grand Theft Auto Online for circuit racing. Make sure you guys take this list into account when you are planning to do some sports class races in GTA. Of course, this list is also good to know for free mode because the list is the same even in free mode. The Italia GTO is going to be probably the best car to get you around if you're looking for a sports class vehicle. So there you have it guys. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, dislike if you didn't enjoy, of course. Subscribe to my channel if you guys are new, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.